Hello, and welcome to My Life on Paper. I am Brianna. Welcome to the Iron Crafter, where we get assigned a challenge each month. It is scraps this month. May I Scraplift You continues to go on for the whole month. I am scraplifting Kathy Price, who loves to scrap on Facebook and YouTube, and I will have those links listed below. I was super excited to find this layout of Kathy's. Um, Not only is it black and white, which I love my monochromatic, but it gets 3 photos onto one page. So I have these photos of last August when my daughter and crew were looking for a wedding dress. And I have these pictures here. My husband, it gets a little emotional to see her in any wedding dress. He doesn't want to see her in her wedding dress, but he didn't want to see her in any wedding dress. So those will be scrapped after the wedding this coming September, but I have plenty of pictures to keep me going. So here I am. I grabbed out my scraps for Iron Crafter Challenge. That is never a problem for me. And I'm going to attempt something that's not going to work, and I'm going to try something else. But I grab out my black and white scraps, and what I thought I was going to do is, make it look like it's one big continuous piece of paper, put a little bit on the left, a little bit on the right. So I'm taking this gridded black and white paper and trimming it in half. And what I failed to realize is that you can see some of the background paper through those photos there. I probably could have overlaid it and made it a little bit easier on my life. But once I and these are 10.5 tall. They're both the same height. And I'm not sure how thick they are because I just took whatever scrap I had and like cut it in half. So I'm going to get those the outside pieces glued down first. I'm using my grid mat, my Fiskars grid mat, to kind of line up without having to get out a ruler. But I will get out my Creative Memories ruler to get the other side at the same level. So you'll see it's gridded. It doesn't need to have a T-square because T-squares never seem to work for me. I mean, it's an easy thing to use, but it just doesn't line up for me. So I use the gridded ruler so that I can get kind of like an inch on the top, I think. Actually, it's 3/4 of an inch, I think. Anyway, um, and then I was going to lay these down next to, but once I lay over the photos, I never do get these glued down because I realize I'm going to need some stuff kind of in the middle. And you'll see me lay down, just kind of eyeball these 2 strips. And then her photos are at an angle, which I don't often do, and I like scrap lifting to kind of get me out of my box. I'm going to piece together some of this and then just be like, no, this isn't going to work. It might have maybe worked, but or even if I had bigger if I matted the photos bigger, maybe would have worked as well. But I'm gonna figure it out in a moment. So I go back to my scraps and I'm trying to find basically the biggest one. That's how I picked. I didn't pick because of pattern or anything. I'm going through. I have a whole iris container of just a 12 by 12 iris container of just black and white um, papers. My girls did band, and their colors were black, white, and red in high school, and it was very easy to use these. I went overboard. I didn't need this much paper, but isn't that, yeah, isn't that always the thing? So, all right, so I've got this big piece of paper. It's still the black and white. I can glue that down. It covers the space. I made it shorter. I made it the 10.5. I did not make it any thinner, which is funny. I just kind of went with it. I will trim 2 of the photos down by 3.5 by 5. And you can see I do that carefully. I kind of go a little bit of this side, a little bit of that side. I don't want to chop arms off or heads off or anything like that. So I'll take a little bit off the top, missing everybody's head, then take a little bit off the bottom, trimming off my necklace and Eliza's feet, but it's okay. So yeah, we had a bride. No, who did we have? We have 2 sisters, the mother of the groom, the mother of the bride, and then we have 2 usherettes, one of which came along, and then we had one bridesmaid that came the following day when we did find her dress. So that was fun. I know I've scrapped a couple of pictures from that day, but there will be more. So once I trimmed them down, then I made mats. And I did it just like Kathy did, where I have the white mat that goes on the top photo and the black mats go on the bottom photo. And then I will kind of arrange them just like Kathy had as far as overlapping and not overlapping. But I just went into my scraps for the black and for the white. I have plenty of all those scraps. And then I will also go into my scraps once I get these laid out. I don't glue them down yet, but then I'll decide, oh my goodness, I love that Kathy has a little border, a punched border going along either side. And that's not something I always think about. I have plenty of punches, but I just don't think to use them. So I got this Creative Memories punch out, and they just work so great. It seems like they never get stuck or anything, and they're so easy to line up and use. So I will punch two of those, one for the left side and one for the right side, out of a scrap I have. After I punch those, I will trim them down to the 10.5 inch size, because then if any of them get punched goofy, I can trim off one side or the other. Um, because that happens to me even though I just said it is, and it's user error. It's not the punch error. It's totally me not getting it lined up or something. So there you go. And like I said, I have not glued down those photos, uh, but they are kind of lined up where I want them. So I kind of just sneak the borders in there, and then I will glue down the photos once I make sure everything's in the right spot. Kathy's florals inspired me. So I went through all my black and white papers and I found these florals that I fussy cut out. They're not, a dark black, but with monochromatic, with black and white, you can go gray as well. So I was so super excited. I don't have a lot of florals, and especially not almost like non-dimensional florals. Like I have real, not real, but like florals. I don't even know how to describe it, but the paper flowers that have dimension to them. Um, so, and I could have used those as well, but I did not. I was super excited to use these, and they worked perfectly. And what did it cost me? My time and a one sheet of paper. So I will spread these around. I will use my ATG adhesive to get them down, and uh and I have some more for another layout as well. So yay, this makes me happy. This is why I like to do these hops like the May I Scraplift You, because it makes me do things that I wouldn't necessarily think of myself. You can see that Kathy has some tags along the left side on the top there. So I just go into my stash, and the one on the right is a creative memory one that's going to be my journaling spot. The white one, I just got offline. And then I can't remember the gridded one where that even came from, but I have tag maker punches, but man, I like to get these out of my stash as well. So that was fun. Now these cameras are Nicole Jones 911 printables, and I tried to find ones that were really more of a darker shade to kind of give a little contrast to those flowers. And then I had little gems to put in the middle of the cameras, and I will use some adhesive foam tape to back those and kind of pop those up. Um, in my color box, I had this black and white ribbon, and even though it's kind of like an off-white, it's not white white. I am totally okay with that. This has been in my stash quite a while, and I'm so super glad to get some of it on a layout. I layered those tags up before I trimmed down the other, and I can use that gridded paper for another layout. And then I loop the ribbon into the tag hole so that it's not naked, and it kind of just nicely finishes it off. Then I will put some ATG adhesive on there. I will layer those two together. And now none of the florals are glued down yet. So I'm going to go ahead and move the florals out of the way, um, so that I can really see and get those tags in there. And I'm sorry about my head again. I feel like it would not be my life on paper video if my head wasn't poking in the way once or twice. So sorry about that. I got the tags down. Now I can layer those photos over, and they're going to layer over the flowers are going to layer over my photos. I'm not covering up anything important. There is the bride above me. That's Jillian. But she just kind of gets nestled in those flowers, and she's still the star of the show. And I will layer some underneath as well as over the top. and then move to my other clusters. Ooh, I had even had a leaf. That was very exciting. So the leaf gets to go in there as well. Um, the tags are more for show, so I don't worry about covering those up. The cameras are actually in place of the butterflies that Kathy has. And I did get this tag on there. I believe it's an Ellie Studio tag, and I'll probably put the date on there. I get the cameras there where she has the butterflies with and I use the mounting tape on there just to give it a little dimension with my flat flowers. Down below, I will have listed both who is playing along with the Iron Crafter Challenge. There is also a playlist for that, as well as the playlist for May I Scraplift You, and I will have all Kathy's information listed below so you can go check her out as well. Subscribing to our channels always helps YouTube know that you like what you're seeing and puts us out there to other people as well. So I thank you for all of that, for your comments, for your likes, for your subscriptions, all that. All right, so I did get a little bit of twine into the journaling spot there. It says, does it say what I'm thankful for? Oh, I'm thankful for. So I have a little bit of journaling to do there. I get another flower and a leaf down, and that's about it. So I want to thank you so much for sticking with me through the end. Have a fabulous day, and please come back and see me again soon.